Morning, guys. My car broke down, so I'm having a coffee, and I don't drink coffee. Um, I called few recovery companies, but none of them were capable of solving my problem, or at least it was not guaranteed. So I took a shot, um, half half blindly, by knowing that I have all the knowledge needed, which is ChatGTP. I've got all the tools needed, which is a voltmeter with the resistance setting 200, where you can precisely measure the resistance on each fuse. ChatGTP told me where the fuse box is. I found it. I tested every single fuse manually, meaning I took it out, connected both ends of the fuse, measured the reading on the voltmeter, and was able to establish that every single fuse is healthy. I cleaned a lot of them, and I cleaned the resistors and some big fuses, I think, unless it's all resistors. I'm still learning, but I cleaned the actual connections with a screwdriver, flat one, just basically scrubbing it off. They were all oxidated, or whatever it's called, when oxygen and heat and so on and so forth kind of creates a whitish layer on them and slightly reduces function and increases resistance slightly, but still functional. Probably next project will be take them out again, because now I'm gonna put them back in, because I'm fed up by now, and it's cold and everything, and it's early in the morning. I've been here all night, stuck diagnosing, testing, and all that kind of shit. So what do we know? Two batteries, around between 65 and 85% health. Not health, but charged, because the health has nothing to do with how much they're charged currently. It has something to do, but like, I don't have the tools to measure the health, so it's just that's what I have as data. It's that much charged each, roughly. One a bit higher, one a bit lower, but roughly in that range. It's not the batteries. The car was running anyway. I shut it off, I put fuel, I come back to the car, nothing, zero, nada. There is like literally, I think the key was recognized, which was very interesting, because sometimes if Mercedes-Benz doesn't recognize your key, you won't be able to turn it. It's not gonna kind of grab it, and it's gonna be very hard to do anything with the key. If it accepts it and starts turning, means some part of the ignition system is running and recognizing the key. But at the same time, you've got lock not working. You've got the whole dashboard dark. You've got lights dark, interior, exterior. You try to put the emergency lights on, doesn't work. Pretty much nothing works apart from recognizing the key. I guess that's on a different relay. Also, you've got on Mercedes, you've got two relays with the same part number. That's how the relay looks like, and that's the part number, basically A002542 A319. So I'm thinking I've got two relays. One is clearly faulty. I was able to establish that, like, for a fact, based on all of the data described so far. In addition to the relay having plastic melted, and like visually not looking the same because of the deformations from the heat, and so on and so forth. Like, everything led to the relay and got confirmed by common sense, by all the tests, and by the fact that multi-purpose relays, which is that part number, and I've got two again, do control windows, do control ignition, do control pretty much every system that prevents you to start the car. So I thought, I was led by this throughout the whole time. What is the simplest solution to diagnose, establish the issue, pinpoint it precisely, and fix it as quick as humanly possible, as cheap as humanly possible? Efficiency, speed, accuracy, step by step. Number one, I needed to fill up the gaps. I've known pretty much nothing about electrical systems, even though that's probably not true, because in physics I've studied extensively from a little kid. I remember at some point, even like early on, because in Bulgaria the schools are crazy, like they make you learn pretty much everything. So what I had to do early on, like little kid, imagine like, I don't know, 12 probably, we did circuits, and little that I know, I thought I didn't learn anything, but you start getting some grasp on the basics, and when you're getting guided by AI, electrician, Google, anything, you're kind of prepared, you've got the basics, and it doesn't take that much to, learn the rest of the basics by asking the precise questions that comes up to your mind after get fed with more data and more information, more knowledge, to ChatGPT mainly, in real time, conversational mode, £20 a month, and it feds up, like spits up the answers straight away. There is no delay. So that speeds up the whole process, instead of having to type in Google, look through forums and all that stuff. And when I can't find anything, I'm saying go deep dive on the full World Wide Web and search every forum, every corner, if someone has mentioned something about the part number, what it does, and all that kind of crap, and I get to the bottom of it one way or the other. Conversational mode, extremely fast, extremely efficient, extremely cheap, because instead of having to ask electricians, pay recovery, even though I'm gonna sign up, because I had a lovely person that I spoke with on the second call, and they sold me. Basically, the price is so low that I'm feeling guilty signing up, because I know that personally me, because I drive a lot, even though someone else might be not the same situation, I will most probably get more value out of the service than the actual subscription. So literally they're gonna be net in a loss by taking me on, most probably. Maybe not, maybe, I don't know, because I'm fully recovering the car, and also I'm becoming so good at diagnosing and fixing that maybe, because right now or in the past, if I took it in the past, they were gonna be in net loss. From now on, probably I'm gonna be in the net loss, because I'm becoming so quick to diagnose, learn new data to be able to diagnose more precisely, and all the rest you can think of. I'm running out of time because it's a 10-minute video usually,